25 noteworthy horror movies releasing in 2025. In no particular order, let's go! Number 1. Dracula, A Love Tale. The horror genre's most prolific character will return yet again in 2025. This latest adaptation is written and directed by Luc Besson, and stars Caleb Landry Jones as the titular Batboy, with Christoph Waltz in a supporting role. As the subtitle implies, this version will hone in on the romantic aspects of the story. The release synopsis appears to be a direct riff on the Coppola movie's dead wife reincarnation plot. Who knows? Maybe it will shake things up a bit. Knowing Luc Besson, the reincarnated bride will probably be 13 years old. Release date, to be confirmed, 2025. Number 2. Wolfman. Sliding across to another gothic icon, Lee Whannell's reboot of the classic Universal monster is lined up to be the first big horror release of the year. There is an understandable buzz around the movie, given that Whannell was behind the acclaimed reimagining of The Invisible Man. Like that film, Wolfman seems unafraid to stray from its source material to give us something a little different, while maintaining the core concept of a deeply troubled and cursed individual. A slight backlash occurred against the new design, but I'm on board. As much as I love the 1941 movie, it's now 2025. You can't exactly adopt the freshly groomed poodle look. Release date, 17th of January. Number 3. Sinners. Director Ryan Coogler always teams up with Michael B. Jordan, but this time, he's teaming up with 2 Michael B. Jordans. This is one of my most hotly anticipated horror movies of next year. Set a century ago, Jordan plays twin brothers who venture back down to Louisiana, but encounter the remnants of the KKK and an even darker unexpected threat. Allegedly, this is a vampire tale of sorts, but whatever the horror threat may be, I'll be there. Release date, March 7th. Number 4. Final Destination, Bloodlines. The Final Destination franchise is back for a 6th installment, the first entry since 2011. While I can't stand the Bloodlines subtitle, and I'm fundamentally disappointed that this will break the perfect loop between Final Destination 1 and 5, I must admit, I have missed these movies. Also, it may well give us one last turn for Tony Todd as Bloodworth, which would be a bittersweet treat if true. Release date, May 16th. Number 5. I Know What You Did Last Summer. Speaking of long dormant franchises, at least on the big screen, 2025 will see the return of the 90s' second most popular slasher series. Inevitable, I suppose, the rights holders must have been salivating as Scream 5 and 6 raked up a fair amount of cash. However, the relatively recent Amazon TV reboot holds the prestigious honour of being one of the very few things I've started, but refused to finish. Here's hoping this continuation will hold some of the spirit and fun of the originals. The fact that Jennifer Love Hewitt is involved gives me a slight bit of hope. We've seen what happens when she's not around. Release date, 18th of July. Number 6. The Monkey. Longlegs was one of the most talked about horror films of 2024. Osgood Perkins and Neon intend to ride the wave of that movie's success by bringing us another spooky treat just like 7 months after that other film's release. Based on a Stephen King short, The Monkey will feature twin brothers. Ooh, it's a banner year for twin brothers. This time played by Theo James. Unluckily for him, no matter what film or TV credits he amasses, to me, he'll forever just be the bully with poo on his face. Anyway, the brothers find a weird-ass monkey toy, and a load of gruesome deaths occur. Release date, February 21st. Number 7. The Conjuring, Last Rites. I'm not personally excited for the 4th installment in the mainline Conjuring series, but I am thrilled because they've announced it will be the last bloody one. Finally, we can stop romanticising those bastard Warrens and go back to simply romanticising Vera Farmiga. Release date, September 5th. Number 8. The Ritual. Stop me if you've heard this one before. 2 priests, one questioning his faith and one reckoning with a troubled past, must put aside their differences to save a possessed young woman through a difficult and dangerous series of exorcisms. Now that logline, and indeed the title, might sound like the single most generic possession movie ever made. But there's a catch. The two priests are played by Dan Stevens, very good, and more significantly, Al bloody Pacino.
Okay, the power of Christ compels you. The power of Christ compels you. Okay. Pazuzu's got a great ass, and you've got your faith all the way up it.
Release date, the 18th of April.
Hooah!
Number 9, Thanksgiving 2. The first Thanksgiving movie was a pleasant surprise. It did not change my life, but it revived a sense of fun that mainstream horror has lacked throughout the 2010s. I happily welcome a second helping of turkey, so long as its demise was creatively devised. Release date TBC 2025. Number 10, Fear Street Prom Queen. Another pleasant slasher surprise. Netflix's trilogy of Fear Street films earlier this decade were very well received. It's no great shock, but they have decided to produce further scary tales from R.L. Stein's book series. The real surprise is that it's taken them until 2025 to do so. That is wise, I think, letting the dust settle on that 3-part, history-spanning epic saga before greedily diving back in for more. Prom Queen will be an 80s set high school tale of teenage stabbings and teenage slander. Release date TBC 2025. Number 11, Saw 11. Tobin Bell has confirmed he's involved. Well, that's all I need to hear. I can only hope it makes him a central presence again, a la Saw 10, which was the best entry since the mid-2000s. Release date, September 26th in America, September 27th in the UK. Number 12, Presence. Steven Soderbergh and David Koepp's new haunted house horror has got me very intrigued. A family moving into a new home and suspecting something supernatural is cohabiting is hardly anything new. However, Soderbergh's direction appears to be very curious on this occasion, chock full of creeping floaty camera work and unusual unsettling angles drawing your attention here and there. Reviews from the 2024 festival circuit were also strong. Release date, 24th of January. Number 13, They Follow. This is another instance where I'm stunned that a sequel didn't already happen years ago. It Follows has grown to become one of the most famous horror films of the previous decade. The original writer, director and star are all returning, and we can only presume the delay in greenlighting a sequel means that this isn't a cash grab. They were just waiting for the right time and a great worthy idea. Release date TBC 2025. Number 14, The Gorge. The poster for The Gorge tickled my fancy. It's reminiscent of The Gate or The Keep or any other 80s movie beginning with The. Scott Derrickson is behind the camera. Anya Taylor-Joy and Sigourney Weaver are in front of it. A bit of horror, action and mystery will intertwine when operatives are ordered to guard a gorge, which evidently houses something sinister. Because Scott Derrickson, sinister. Could be fun. But it's going to be on Apple TV Plus, so nobody will see it. Release date, Happy Valentine's Day, February 14th. Number 15, Frankenstein. Guillermo del Toro's been pushing to make a Frankenstein movie for yonks, so much so I still can't believe it's actually happening. It's like when you lose a tooth as a kid. You put the little bugger under the pillow, and when you wake up, it's only gone and transformed into gothic steampunk heaven, populated by Mia Goth, Christoph Waltz, again, Oscar Isaac, Jacob Elordi, and bloody hell, David Bradley as Blind Man. Del Toro clearly has a deep passion for this story. Can it live up to the hype? I really, really hope so. Release date? Oh, fuck, it's a bloody TBC again. Number 16, The Bride. We are being spoiled. We're also getting a reimagining of The Bride of Frankenstein. This one's helmed by Maggie Gyllenhaal. It might be a tough gig, as the original Bride is held in very high regard, in a different way to the original Frankenstein even, which is now somewhat diluted by all the other adaptations. But hark, Jessie Buckley as the Bride, Christian Bale as the Frankenstein monster, looking a little too Jared Leto Joker, but we'll see. All it's missing is David Bradley as Blind Man. Release date? It's going directly up against Saw 11 on September 26th. It's Kramer vs. Frankenstein. Number 17, Him. A promising young football player joins an isolated compound to train under a dynasty team's aging quarterback. So, kinda like Foxcatcher, with even more spookily dookilies and less weird Steve Carell nose jobs? Sold! Release date, September 19th. Number 18, Megan 2.0, also known by the alternate title, Live Free or AI Hard. The first Megan film garnered Blumhouse some serious profit, and they greenlit a sequel in less than a fortnight. Dare I say, the film's following has only grown since then, so let's expect this next installment to top the 2025 horror box office lists. Releasing the film as a summer blockbuster is the studio wearing their confidence firmly on their sleeves. Then again, the most recent articles claim the plot will see Megan facing off against a larger AI threat, at which point everyone turned to the TV and said, "Hey, I've seen this one." Release date, 27th of June. Number 19, Companion. Companion proudly states it's from the same studio that brought you Barbarian, all over its marketing. Watching the trailer, the two films definitely feel like they could be companion pieces. It's that low-key quirkiness thing, isn't it? Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Barbarian did, so hopefully this little psychologically darkly romance affair will too. Release date, 31st of January. Number 20, Scary Movie 6.
Oh no!
Number 21, The Backrooms. It's a joy to see YouTube personas successfully advance to another level with big cinematic releases. In a short space of time, we've got Talk to Me, Shelby Oaks, Iron Lung, and we also have this curious little number. Creator Kane Parsons, a mere teenager, has tapped into this whole online phenomenon of liminal spaces and the backrooms to find his niche. To then bargain that into an A24 movie is mighty impressive. I don't fully understand this whole liminal stuff myself, but my kids are gonna love it. Release date? Another TBC 2025. Number 22, Drop. Christopher Landon has carved a nice little space for himself in the modern horror market, directing films such as The Happy Death Day duology, Freaky, and Scout's Guide to the Apocalypse. He's back with Drop, another Blumhouse vehicle, which is a kind of whodunit suspense film, set during a fancy dinner date. Release date, April 11th. 23, Wildwood. This is another animated fantasy horror film from Laika, the studio that brought us Coraline and Paranorman. They've got a strong track record, and before anyone bemoans that this isn't really a horror film, let's just wait and see, shall we? Coraline creeped me out more than most quote-unquote true horror films. Release date? Yeah, you guessed it, TBC 2025. Number 24, Until Dawn. Another YouTube breakout star, David F. Sandberg's next project is an adaptation of the video game Until Dawn. There is potential here, though it will be curious to see how it fares without the whole interactive and choice-making elements. Release date, April 25th. And number 25, 28 Years Later. Saving potentially the best to last, 28 Years Later is finally upon us. Danny Boyle and Alex Garland are back at the wheel. This is good news. The cast is enticing. This is good news. It looks spooky as Dickens. This is very good news. My main concern is that it's the first of a new trilogy. Yes, I know David Gordon Green isn't behind this one, but recent events have me suspicious of such plans. In Boyle we trust, I suppose. Release date, June 20th. So, there we are. Those are just a handful of exciting releases coming our way. I won't get to see any of them until about 2027 because I've got another baby on the way in January, but who cares? Which ones are you most excited for? Maybe I made some notable omissions and you're really clamouring for those 13 different Winnie the Pooh, Peter Pan, Mickey Mouse, Pinocchio pieces of bath scum that are about to flood our fucking noses. Aye.